One of the most popular videos we made is a video about what you need to know before moving to Northern Michigan. And after releasing that video, I received so many calls and comments and texts with specific questions about moving to Northern Michigan that I thought it was time to redo a video with more of an updated approach to what you need to know before moving to Northern Michigan. And that is the reason we make these videos. When you decide to move to Northern Michigan, I want you to be able to come to my channel and find as much information as possible to make sure that Northern Michigan is the right fit for you and your family. And also, I want to mention, if you're watching this video because you are deciding to move to Northern Michigan, please reach out to me directly at 231-487-6141, and myself and my team would love to be a resource for you during the transition. In the last video, we talked about the importance of finding a good local lender. That way you could find out what you're pre-approved for, what type of loan program works for you, and any of the little questions you might have about what it's like to get a mortgage in Northern Michigan. After releasing that video, we did receive a bunch of more specific questions about the ins and outs of getting a mortgage when relocating to an entirely new area, and today I want to share my responses to those specific questions. One of the questions was, how early should I talk to a lender? I'm not exactly sure when I'm moving to Northern Michigan, or if I'm moving to Northern Michigan at all. Should I waste a lender's time by giving them a call? And my answer is, it is never a waste of time to collect information. Speaking to a lender early on will not only tell you what kind of loan program, what you qualify for, and any of the other items you need to know before getting a mortgage. They can also answer questions like, what happens if I have a job in Northern Michigan, but my spouse doesn't? Do I actually need a job to qualify for a loan? And those are questions that a lender will gladly answer for you. If it were me, I would engage a lender's advice anywhere from 6 months to a year out before you make the move. The reason you would talk to a lender that far out is, even though you might have good credit, you could save a lot of money by having great credit. And if you start a year in advance, that gives you plenty of time to raise your credit score from good to great. We also get the question of, do I have to have a job in Northern Michigan before I transfer there? And the answer is, again, it depends. If you are relocating because of your job and they are forcing you to move to another area, a simple letter from your employer will satisfy the bank and make getting a mortgage very easy. And if you're like a lot of people who move here to work remotely and your employer doesn't care where you work, all you need is a letter from them stating, I work for this company and I'm letting you work remotely, and that will satisfy your bank's employment needs in most cases. Also, if you're paying cash for a home, none of this matters because you're not going to be getting a loan and the lender requirements won't apply to you. And if you are relocating to Northern Michigan, but do not currently have a job in Northern Michigan, you're going to want to start the interview process as soon as possible. Luckily, in this day and age, you can interview via Zoom, Skype, or FaceTime, making it a little bit easier to find a job before you actually live in Northern Michigan. Also, something to consider is, if you have a job in Northern Michigan, but your spouse doesn't, you may be able to qualify for a mortgage with only your income. And this is another great reason to speak to a lender before you get the process started. I've made countless videos about how expensive Northern Michigan has gotten, and I still get a lot of buyers that come to me with sticker shock on the prices of what a home in Northern Michigan costs. In fact, in the last 5 years, the average sale in Northern Michigan has gone up over $200,000. Now that is a big increase, and I want to make sure you know what you're getting into before you decide to relocate to Northern Michigan and find a job here. A question I often get asked is, how much is a house in Petoskey? Again, it depends, but I would tell you, for an entry-level house in Petoskey, be prepared to spend about $400,000. Now again, you could probably find a one-off house that's a little less expensive in Petoskey, but it's likely going to need a lot of repair, or there might be major issues with it. Also, if you're looking for a house in Harbor Springs, prepare to start around $500,000. If you're looking in Boyne City, I would be confident in telling you plan for $250,000 and up. And the same goes for Charlottesville. That's also about $250,000 and up. Now again, you can find less expensive houses in each of those cities. However, there's likely going to be something majorly wrong with them, or a unicorn once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Another bit of advice I give to buyers moving here is, the further away from Petoskey, the less expensive the houses are. In fact, I just sold a house in Afton, which is a little rural country town, for $170,000, and the buyer loves it. But I want to make sure to tell you that is not common, and it was a probate situation and really a one-off type of deal. If you've never been to Michigan before, you're going to be extremely surprised by how much different Northern Michigan is from Southern Michigan. I am often at real estate conferences, and when somebody finds out I'm from Michigan, they say, oh, Detroit. And I say, well, not really. Detroit's about 4 hours from where I live. and I live in a beautiful part of northern Michigan, while Detroit is a little bit more congested and a lot different living than northern Michigan. Another specific question I've been asked a lot from people moving to Michigan that have never lived here before is, how do well and septics work? Most places have city sewer and water, which means you pay a monthly bill that allows you access to those two utilities. Most places in northern Michigan have a well and a septic, meaning you actually own your water and sewer devices. Also, the benefit of that is with proper maintenance, they usually cost very little money versus having a water and septic bill every month. If after watching this video, you've thought of some questions you'd like to know yourself, please comment below and I'd be happy to answer them. And for everything northern Michigan real estate related, please subscribe to my channel for videos just like this. That way I'm able to help you become a more educated home buyer in northern Michigan.